Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. During the last couple of weeks, I shared with you how to create some fabric symmetries using Electric Quilt. In today's tutorial, I'll share how I turned these into printed note cards. No fabric required. Okay, I've opened our symmetry project, and I'm going to view the project sketchbook. And on the Quilts tab, I'm going to select the quilt that we designed during the last session and select Edit. And since I'm going to use this as the cover of a note card, I want to select Print and export the image. And I'm going to put it in my EQ images, and I'm going to label this Note Card Front, and I'm going to select Save. Now for this, I want to make sure that my dimensions are appropriate. So I'm going to take you over to Vistaprint. The size is going to end up being 5.5 by 4. So I actually like the 8 by 5.5. I'd rather have it larger, and I can shrink it over there. I also want to make sure that for my resolution, I'm going to put it at the highest quality, which is 600 dots per inch. I am not going to outline patches or blocks because I want this to look more like a quilt than a drawing of a quilt. And I'm going to make the JPEG quality the highest I can, which is 100 as well. And so then I will select OK. Okay, I am on Vistaprint, and I'm going to do a search for note cards. And here they've got a note card, so I will select Shop Now. And it's asking me to print two sizes. I'm going to select the 5.5 by 4. And I am going to order folded so I don't have to fold them myself. And then I need to pick the mat, and I'm going to pick a standard mat. And I'm going to select 40. I'm going to start designing. Now I am going to use my own completed design, so I'm going to select Upload it. I will select Upload my design, Add Image, and I'm going to select from my computer, and I'm going to choose the image, and I am going to navigate to my EQ images where I've saved it and select Note Card Front, and I'm going to select Open. Now notice that Vistaprint did have to cut off some of my border on the left and the right side to get it to fit on the note card. So that's my front side, and then I want to go ahead and design the back side as well. But I'm going to go back to EQ for that. So I'm going to select New Quilt Horizontal, and I'm going to have a layout of 1 by 1. So I called Vistaprint and asked them to give me the size including the bleed. And the bleed is the number that includes basically a fudge factor to help them when they're actually cutting out the design. They indicated that for the note card, the bleed is going to be 5.47 times 4.21. And if I divide that, that means I'm going to have a ratio of 1.3. Now that is very important when I'm designing in EQ. Now I decided that I wanted to bring that border into the back, but I wanted it to be even on all 4 sides. And so my last quilt ended up being around 44 inches. So I decided I was going to start with a quilt that is 44 inches wide. And then by deduction, if I divide that 44 by 1.3, I get 34 inches for the height. Now from both of those measurements, I need to subtract the borders, which are going to be 4 inches on both sides, so a total of 8 inches. So the inside of my quilt needs to be 36 by 26. Now I'm going to go to the Border tab, and I'm going to change those borders to be 4 inches. And I'm going to go to the Design tab, and I'm going to go to the Fabric Tools, And from in my fabric tools, I am going to select that fabric that I've been playing with. And I'm going to rotate the fabric, use advanced rotation, 45 degrees. And then I'm going to put a neutral, more of a texture in the center. So once I've done that, I can add that to the project sketchbook. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Print and Export, export the image. I'm going to call this note card back, and I think I'm just going to call it 5 because I had a few experiments. I'm going to keep the width and height at 8 by 6, resolution is 600, JPEG quality of 100, and I am going to turn off outline patches and outline blocks. And then I'm going to select OK. Now I'm going to go back to Vistaprint, and I am going to select backside. So I can at this point go ahead and select design, and I can find upload your design. So now I'm going to select image from my computer, choose my image. I'm going to select my note card back 5 and select open. And I'm going to drag that onto the workplace, and I'm going to say replace image. And then I'm going to click on this image, and if I look at my fill, I can play with the opacity. I could make it as dark as the front, or I could make it a little bit lighter so it doesn't compete with the front. And then I'm going to add some other information. And so I can go ahead and bring in my logo, and in this case I'm going to add that as an image, and I can select that. I can go ahead and make that a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to take my picture and I'm going to add that as an image, and for this one I'm going to crop it, and I'm going to unlock the crop so I can get rid of some of that background. Select OK, and now I can move a corner to resize it. Once you're used to working in EQ, it's not that hard to work with some of these other graphic programs that are out there. And then I'm going to add some text. So I'm going to select the text tool, and then for the inside I'm going to just change that to a blank. I'm going to select next, and it's going to show me the front side, which I can view larger. Close that, select the back side, view larger, check that I don't have any spelling errors or placement errors and that I am okay with this, and I can close that, and then the inside is blank. So then I just need to approve the design, go to next, choose my envelope and select next, and now it's going to take me through and try to upsell me on a whole bunch of other stuff, but I can just go to the cart and I can go ahead and go through my checkout process. Thanks so much for watching. For additional tips and techniques, please subscribe to my weekly newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com and check out some of my amazing electric quilt classes as well.